Welcome, fellow Rotarians and guests, to today's Idaho Falls Lunch-In presentation presented by the Idaho Falls Rotary Club. Thank you for joining us for today's program. Before we get started, I'd like to make an announcement. I'm very excited to report that the Rotary District 5400 Club has recognized us with their Earth Stewardship Service Certificate. They have named our club Super Earth Stewards because of the work that we have done in the areas of land and water, education, air, and food. So we're very excited, and because of our activities, they have recognized us for the 2019-2020 year and the 2020-21 year already. So we're very excited. Congratulations for all of your hard work, Rotarians, and we will continue to keep up the good work. At this time, I am pleased to introduce this month's program, Chair Catherine Smith, who is today's presenter. Catherine Smith is Executive Director for the Idaho Falls Downtown Development Corporation. She is a fifth-generation Idahoan and spent most of her childhood in Swan Valley on her grandparents' ranch as a young girl. She attended the Art Institute of Portland, where she earned her bachelor's degree. Previously, she held the position of Eastern Region Development Officer for the Idaho Community Foundation. She also worked for the Idaho Falls Arts Council and the Idaho Commission on the Arts as a regional public art advisor, focusing on the Eastern region of Idaho. She is an active member of the nonprofit community and serves on a handful of local nonprofit boards and volunteers regularly at the Idaho Falls Zoo. And of course, Catherine is also a proud Rotarian. She was named Distinguished Under 40 in 2014 and is a graduate of the Chamber Leadership of Idaho Falls program. If you have questions during today's presentation, please put those in the chat, and we'll make sure that Catherine has an opportunity to answer your questions. So with that, welcome, Catherine.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here today. I wish that we were all together having lunch, but this is almost as good. So I'm excited as well to talk with you all about what is happening downtown. Downtown Idaho Falls is booming, and we've all seen the construction trucks and all the orange cones out. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of those projects today, as well as what we have planned for the future. So I do have a nifty PowerPoint because I can't ever leave home without a PowerPoint. So I'm going to walk us through this, and I hope that there are questions because I would love to answer any questions. So Idaho Falls Downtown Development Corporation, we are a 501c6 organization. And we are tasked with multiple things that we do, but one of the most important things that we do is we manage the Business Improvement District in downtown Idaho Falls. Here on this map is the boundaries of the Business Improvement District, and the Business Improvement District is actually owned by the City of Idaho Falls, and we have the pleasure of managing that district per the pleasure of the City Council. It is a process to have the Business Improvement District. It does go through a public hearing process, a petition process with the downtown property owners, and then a vote by the City Council. The Business Improvement District nets us $85,000 annually for our operating budget, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. But this here is our boundary. So while the boundary is not what we would consider all of downtown, the areas within these boundaries are key to our work. So it is Broadway to Constitution and Memorial to Yellowstone, as you can see. We also have another category that we call the Class B membership, and those are folks that are outside of the boundaries that participate in our work, and they pay into the district as a membership. And so we do include those folks down on Cliff Street. Cliff Street is a very important part of our downtown, rich in history, and so that's the little red blurb that you'll see there. So I mentioned our operations budget. So our Business Improvement District, as I've mentioned, brings us $85,000 annually. And the total collected through that district is actually closer to $93,000. We draw out $85,000 to leave some money in the savings account. How that is processed is there's a county property tax, obviously. and the business improvement district is set at 2 mills. So if, for instance, if you have a property that's assessed at $300,000 annually for your property taxes, the contribution you're going to be assessed into the business improvement district at the 2 mills rate is $150. So that's how the math breaks down. With that, we are fully aware of these contributions that our property owners make into this district. So it's a great honor and a great responsibility that we make sure that there's a return on investment for these property owners. Along with that with that business improvement district, we also have parking revenue. We're going to talk about parking in just a little bit. Our parking revenue has increased this last year because we took on the on-street parking, which I'm going to talk about, and I'm excited to do so. So our parking revenue nets us $127,000 annually. We also host events. This year with COVID, our event income looks a little bit different because we weren't able to host the usual events that we host. But on a good year, and what we anticipate as we make our way through this COVID new world, we will see $65,000 annually in our event income. And then grant writing can anywhere be between $20,000 and $30,000 in either projects or operational support based on what we find and what we have time to go after. We are a very small staff. There's 4 of us total, 3 full-time, 1 part-time. The 2 new staff that we have are our parking ambassadors. We do have a long-time employee, Mala Lyon, who's been with Downtown Development for over 20 years. She's our operations manager, and myself are in the office. We do have a 14-person board of directors that is made up of downtown property owners, merchants, business owners, and it's really important to us, obviously, per our bylaws, that the board is from those who are engaged with the downtown area. So let's jump into the projects that we have done and projects that we are looking at. So last year was a pretty historic year for downtown development. We are not shy to large projects for downtown, but last year we had quite a few kind of happening all at once. We were fortunate to secure over $1 million in funding from the redevelopment agency. And the Idaho Falls Redevelopment Agency it's still going, of course, but the Snake River District was the district that included downtown Idaho Falls, and it was closing. Their 30-year district was closing. So we were fortunate to be able to make a request, do the legwork, and secure those dollars for projects downtown. Other projects that came from the redevelopment district, the redevelopment agency, and the Snake River District includes the Broadway development that we see there at Broadway and Memorial, the Bonneville hotel historic renovation, also Hotel Row, so Lindsay Boulevard and all of those hotels there, the Hilton True, all of those projects were we can thank the Idaho Falls Redevelopment Agency for the hard work of that district to bring those projects to fruition. So where it lands for downtown, not only did we have buildings, but we were able to do these massive beautification projects with those funds. Downtown Development matched the project at $50,000. As I mentioned earlier, we like to keep some money in the piggy bank. When we pull our business improvement district revenues, we always leave some money in the bank so that over the years we can build up those funds to be able to do these types of projects. So we did match the funds at $50,000 for the Broadway project. And with that, we re-envisioned and rescaped all of Broadway. This included new sidewalk, new pavers, new automatic sprinkling. The automatic sprinkling was key and very important to the project because in years past we have been hand watering all of the plants and trees, and that's a tough, labor-intensive process, not to mention a little bit dangerous considering Broadway is a big highway. So it was really important to us to be able to get that all auto-watered there on Broadway. The pavers tied in with what we see at the Riverwalk or the Greenbelt, and it was just a really important project to do as we saw as that Snake River District was closing down. The other piece that was really important that I know was painful for a lot of folks was we did cut down and remove the trees along Broadway. Those trees that were planted had been there for decades and were not healthy or in a good environment to grow and thrive for another 20, 30 years. as you drove down Broadway, you would just see a big canopy, and most likely at 35, 40 miles an hour, maybe it's 25, sorry. But you would drive down and it looked like it was healthy and thriving. Oh, I see there, speed limit 25. Sorry. But as you drove, it did look healthy. When you got up close to those trees, the bark was falling off. They were not healthy. And we worked through a lot of options to figure out how to remove the trees. And actually we looked through how we could save the trees. And it just was ultimately decided we had to remove them. The trees were actually planted in concrete coffin boxes. So what we have now is healthy, thriving trees that are the right species for the corridor that sees 30 to 40,000 cars daily. We were also able to remove these aggregate planter boxes that were crumbling. A lot of the concrete had rebar in it. It just was all a little dingy looking and did not at all communicate the vibrancy of our downtown that was happening and the renovations that we were seeing throughout downtown. So what we have now is wide open sidewalks, beautiful pavers, automatic sprinklers, flowers that are thriving in new planter boxes that are auto-watered, and very happy trees. In addition to that project that was happening, we also had what we call the Corner Project happening. And this was a $342,000 project that began with reimagining those corners with, again, the pavers, the pots, and new concrete work. So what we had years prior, and that we had all been very familiar with, was kind of a mix of boxes downtown. Aggregate planter boxes that were crumbling, brick planter boxes, different varieties of brick planter boxes. In fact, we looked at maybe rebricking all the planter boxes and saving them because what came next was, again, we had trees planted in planter boxes. So we went through a lot of processes to try to decide what was the best way forward. I mentioned multiple bricks, and what was interesting about that is trying to decide which brick to even go with was a challenge because there were so many varieties of bricks. So what we ended up with, I hope that you all agree, is a very cohesive, very aesthetically pleasing design for our downtown corners that allows for comfortable walkability and, most importantly, very healthy trees that are now planted in the ground with structural soil, so those roots will grow and thrive, and they will be very happy for many years. It was very fun working on the project. We worked with Reinhardt Concrete. Jason Reinhardt is the owner of that concrete company. And one piece that was really neat is Jason's grandfather was also a concrete, I think they're artists in a lot of ways with the work that they did. But Jason's grandfather was a concrete contractor, and he actually poured the majority of downtown Idaho Falls. So it was really neat to work with Jason, who was the grandson of this gentleman who had poured downtown Idaho Falls sidewalks decades prior. So just kind of a neat tidbit. It was a very, very fun summer working with this construction crew. I hauled around more orange cones than you can imagine to get roads partially closed and reopened. The results, though, we are really, really pleased with. And I think they definitely speak for themselves. We have large spaces for our events as we look forward to continuing those. More areas for people to congregate and be open and feel comfortable. So it's going to be really nice as we reconvene downtown with our events. We also were able to plant different varieties, which I'm a sucker for a good hydrangea plant. So it's very fun to see the different types of flowers that we can now have downtown. In addition to that, those types of projects that are large scale, we tackled a few smaller projects. One of which was not redoing, but freshening up the Yellowstone sign that we see on Yellowstone. Importantly enough, we use this sign all the time to promote and advertise for our downtown businesses, but it just looked a little tired. So with funds from the Community Support Grant from the City of Idaho Falls, we had a refresh to the sign. And why I mention this and why it's really important is as we're working through our projects, we are always very cognizant and aware of what was there before us and why. This sign has been downtown for decades. We advertise with a reader board format, so we slide the letters in and out of that white backboard. And it was really important that we didn't reinvent the wheel with this sign, that we kept the nostalgic of the sign intact, and we just updated it so that it was easier for our staff to be able to update that sign. So the sign itself got a fresh coat of paint, a new graphic on top, a new reader board tray, and we're off and running with it. So these are the projects that we complete and we work on. It's really important that we don't make drastic changes. We're just trying to polish the diamond that's already there. Another piece of our work, and we take this very seriously, is our flowers and our beautification downtown. This summer was a very challenging summer in a lot of ways with our COVID world, but also all of our operation budgets took a hit, whether it was the city budget, the downtown development budget, or your favorite nonprofit budget. One thing that became very clear to us early on as we were working through the early stages of COVID was we were going to need to recalibrate what we were planning on doing downtown, because we were missing our events, which is a key part to our operations, but we also rely heavily and work closely with the city departments, so Parks and Rec, Public Works. And when it comes to our flowers and our hanging baskets downtown, Parks and Rec is a very big supporter of ours. We definitely have a very successful working relationship. We are so grateful to PJ and the team over at Parks and Rec. And PJ gave me a call and let me know that we needed to work through some creative ideas for watering downtown. As I mentioned earlier, Broadway is auto-watered, but the remaining sections of downtown, we don't have sprinklers, so we hand water. And working together, we figured out a plan so that downtown development could take on the watering of our downtown. So you may have seen some super cute teenagers this summer hauling around a wagon full of water jugs, watering our flowers, and it worked great. We did have to adapt a little bit. We learned a lot about overwatering. You can actually drown a plant. Had no idea. Fertilizing. We learned a lot with our friends from Parks and Rec helping us every step of the way. And the results were a beautiful downtown full of flowers. They're a little wind beaten right now from our tornado the other night. And last night, luckily, I don't think it froze everything, but we definitely take our flowers seriously, and we're very excited about what we're able to do with the beautification so that when you come downtown, you can grab a cup of coffee or have your lunch at the Snake Bite and just enjoy where you're at. So parking, we're going to talk about parking. Parking is one of my favorite topics, not because we have done a ton of research for 3 years on parking, and not because parking is a very passionate topic, but because the key to a healthy downtown is healthy parking. So we are dedicated and working hard to making parking work for downtown Idaho Falls. Everyone's got opinions on the parking downtown, from there's not enough, it's difficult to find, folks don't want to get parking tickets. Folks get very upset when they get parking tickets. But there's a method to the madness, and I'm hopeful that I can share a lot of these details with you today. And I welcome questions as well so we can talk through. So when we looked at the downtown parking as a whole, prior to downtown development managing the parking, it was being managed by the police department. A longtime employee there has been out with the chalk marking tires. So as we looked at downtown growing and options for downtown, we reached out to other cities similar in our size, along with Boise, which is obviously larger than us, and explored how other cities were managing their downtown parking. And we learned a lot. And we were able to, with, again, funds from the redevelopment agency, purchase the initial $100,000 investment in parking infrastructure so that we could have the software, the technology, and the vehicle to be able to effectively manage downtown parking without having to do it on foot with a chalk. So the first step was to secure the parking management from the city. So we worked very closely in tandem with the police department and the various city departments to be able to become the parking authority for downtown. This has been a long time coming, I think, based on parking studies that have been done and have really sat on shelves as folks have kind of tried to weed through how to make this all happen. And I think with many years of dedicated work between the board of directors and the staff, both at GDC and the city, we were able to bring the pieces together. So the concept really is to think about parking not as a punitive, negative experience, but when you're coming downtown to have an experience, whether you're grabbing a cup of coffee, going to a show, or eating lunch, think about how long you're going to be in downtown and then park based on the time frame that you're going to be in downtown versus having to play the car hop. So what we did first was we identified our parking areas with a color-coded map, which you'll see here. And it really speaks to the concept that I mentioned that you need to park based on how long you're going to be downtown. If you are going to be downtown for longer than 2 hours, do not park in 2-hour parking because you're most likely going to get a ticket from one of our parking ambassadors, Juan or Ed, or you are going to have to frantically go and move your car every 2 hours, which is not fun at all. It's best to enjoy whatever you're doing and leave your car parked where it's supposed to be. So if you're going to be downtown for longer than 2 hours, park in the all-day parking, which is your yellow parking per the map, or park in a pay-to-park lot we also manage a few of those, which I'm going to show you. You can park there all day for $5. We also do have a parking garage at the Broadway the Broadway development. There's a parking garage underneath. And it's interesting, a lot of the times we'll hear the answer to downtown parking woes is a parking garage. Well, we do have one, 50 parking stalls underneath, and it's $2 an hour or $12 max. So if you park for 8 hours, the most you'll pay to park all day is $12. However, that parking garage is at Memorial and Broadway. So if you are doing business at Lynn's Linens or San Michelle or Great Harvest, you can park in your parking garage, but you will still have a 2-block walk, just like if you were to park on Yellowstone. So the concept of a parking garage solving all of our problems, I think there's an argument to be made there. However, the point is the parking garage will have to be built in an area that there's property available, and with that you will still have a bit of a walk to wherever you're going, because at this point now we definitely are not going to be tearing down a building in the core of downtown Idaho Falls to build a parking garage. So there's just the parking garage topic continues, but that is not that's not the silver bullet solution. The solution is to utilize our parking based on the time you plan to spend. I mentioned the parking lots that we have downtown. So we have the A Street parking lot, which is on Yellowstone and A. The businesses that face that parking lot are Weeby Toys, Idaho Mountain Trading, O'Brien Tom Chuck, and a few others. But this here is a parking lot where you may park for $1 an hour, $5 all day if you're coming downtown to do your business or have lunch. We also sell parking permits for employees in this parking lot at $35 a month. So that is where another piece of that income comes through for us. We also have the B Street parking lot. This is behind the Colonial Theater and Healing Hands or MCS Advertising at B and Capitol. And an important piece of parking, folks will ask us, what if you're gathering funds for parking, what do you do with those funds? Well, we reinvest everything that we can into our parking improvements. So you'll see here, this is at the B Street parking lot. It's very important that we have a clean, convenient, healthy downtown experience for folks. And as you're walking through our downtown parking lots, you'll see that they are clean, well painted, lit, and this is a good example of what we use those funds on with beautification. It's important that we not only make the buildings beautiful, but we also make our parking lots beautiful. Here's another example of just a small improvement to a sign to help communicate that it's a clean, happy, inviting place. Just a bit of paint and a new sign. A big improvement that happened last summer as well is Idaho Falls Power installed new lights downtown. This was really in response to, I think, an overall update to the infrastructure to replace the large Cobra lights that we have downtown with our candlestick historic lights, but also to take into account the fact that we have more residential homes, more residential folks living downtown. This brings the light level lower in the downtown and leaves the second floor residences without a glaring huge street light out their window. So here's a day and a night picture for you to see. This is Bodie, cute little golden retriever from Ashley from Museum of Idaho. We're going to talk about the dogs because I do chase people down with their dogs and take pictures of them. The dogs. We're not so interested about the owners, just the dogs. But this, you can see how bright, and even with the smaller candlestick lights, our downtown is safe and bright and quite beautiful in the evenings. So thanks to Idaho Falls Power. That was a huge improvement. So facade and sign grants. One thing that we all are most proud of is for years we have worked with the Community Development Services Department to secure funds from HUD to provide facade and grant facade and sign grants to our property owners. So a few examples for you is the Crest Building, which is now home of Channel Blend. This was then in back in the day. I don't have the exact date, but it was back in the day. And then a more recent picture from 2007, and then a very recent picture there on the right from there on Park Avenue. And you can see that the lead glass was revealed. The entire front of that facade was redone with new awnings. The copper trim work, when you get down, you'll have to look closely at the building, was revealed and shined up. And also those historic curved windows were able to be installed. So it's such a beautiful building downtown. And because of our ability to provide these facade grants to our property owners, it is another tool that we can offer to provide value and support to our property owners. There is a cost share on this. The grant covers 75%, with the property owner covering 25% of the total cost. So there is a cost share on that. Artie is also a very well-known building on Broadway. We participated in their facade project. And then a really charming building on Shoup Avenue, the Health Resources Building. Next time you drive around that corner, take a look at that awning because it's nothing else like it downtown. So public art, a big piece of what we hope to continue to do is install more public art downtown. One of the first projects we did, because we received a generous grant from the CHC Foundation and had matching funds within our own historic downtown foundation, we were able to spend $13,500 the summer of 2019 and 2020 wrapping our traffic cabinets. Now, this was a very important project because it does communicate the vibrancy, the culture, the art scene of our downtown that has been key to revitalizing the area. But it also was an important project because we were able to work all together with multiple organizations and entities to bring it together. Most of our traffic cabinets, they are on Broadway and Yellowstone because they correspond to traffic lights, which are on those state highways. So we needed to work with ITD. And this project honestly wouldn't have happened without Jackie Flowers, one of our favorite Rotarians. She made sure that she shepherded through this project with our public art committee and her support to get ITD's sign off and support on this. We wrapped these traffic cabinets with local artists that was made available to us from the Art Museum, their permanent collections. So Mi Griggs was a huge piece of the project as well as our public art committee. And what was very fun is for the traffic cabinets right across from the auditorium on Broadway, we commissioned, well, we didn't commission. We, with Georgina Goodlander, with her work, and Amber Dayshaw, we sent out a call to local artists, young artists, to submit their their designs, and then these pieces of art were selected from those submissions that were received. So this is children's artwork wrapped on those traffic cabinets right across from Auditorium on Broadway. And then, of course, we couldn't do without a Fred Ochi wrapped cabinet. This is on Memorial, and this is the old Eagle Rock, one of his favorite pieces. Murals. So we are going to see more murals downtown, which is very exciting. What we have here is the mural that is on Snakebite at the Snakebite Private Alley on A Street. This mural is by Sharon Wright. We also have this beautiful mural by Dustin Lyon on the back of Willow Tree that faces Yellowstone. So again, I mentioned that the Cliff Street area is outside of our business improvement district, but this is a perfect example of how we focus the majority of our work within the business improvement district, but we keep in mind that this contributing neighborhood, whether it's the Ridge District, South Downtown, obviously Cliff Street, these are all important pieces of our downtown. So we were thrilled to place a mural there on the back of Willow Tree, and again, it's a old time depiction of not a historical depiction, but an old time depiction of what could be Cliff Street back in the day. And then we also have this very fun, vibrant mural that was installed on Villo Coffee House. And this was done by Chris Burnham, who works for the INL. And it was just a very fun, Instagrammable moment. She's a graphic designer, very talented. And we were thrilled to have this on A Street. Excuse me, no, Park Avenue. So as you're driving down Park Avenue, you'll see it on the left at Villa. And this here is a photo of our Trustee Public Art Committee, and you'll probably recognize some faces. Of course, Lisa is a fellow Rotarian, but all of these hardworking folks, we meet regularly to bring these projects and to brainstorm and come up with the next big thing that we want to do. So what you'll see next is a new mural on the Marcellers building on Park Avenue, which is being funded by the Idaho National Laboratory. There is some not a requirement, but celebration of the 70th anniversary of the INL and the INL's incredible contribution and importance to our community, and also just a celebration. The piece needs to just celebrate the INL in itself, science, technology, energy. All of these wonderful things that make Idaho Falls such a unique, special place. So we'll see that. The call to artists is open now and will close next Monday. Following that, we will see more murals downtown in 2021. And we also have some really fun ideas of some sidewalk art that we're going to do, some crosswalk murals, some sculptures. The public art scene, I think, will continue to grow, and we are really excited about it. We also like to make sure that we highlight Pugs Lane, which is over on B Street. This was created by Gibby Smead from Compass Academy, and she's moved on and is no longer a high school student, but is fulfilling, I think, a career in art, I hope. So next time you're downtown, please take a look on B Street. It's between the Harris Publishing Building and the Rogers Hotel in a little tiny alley. Pugs Lane is an ever-evolving, really wonderful alleyway of art. We also spend a lot of time marketing downtown as a whole, cohesively and collectively. Be a Downtowner is our hashtag, our motto. We want to encourage everyone to be a Downtowner. There's everything for everyone downtown. So we are constantly on the lookout for folks that are downtown enjoying themselves. We like to highlight our Mural Monday social media posts. I mentioned the dogs. I do routinely chase people down with their dogs and take photos of them because, and it's not just limited to dogs, cats, parrots. We had a kangaroo last week. Anything that is furry and cuddly and fun. We'd probably even do fish. We'd probably do reptiles too. But the point is, the concept behind this all is to show that downtown is a friendly, wonderful, welcoming place, and it's full of unique people. And so we just want to highlight that and celebrate it. And I also am a crazy dog person. So it's been very fun to get to know the dogs of downtown because they are consistent with their owners. They are downtown a lot. I think that it's no surprise that our downtown is charming, it's beautiful, and it's always fun to be able to communicate that far and wide and really be the cheerleader of all the businesses that are working so hard to bring these experiences to us. And we are just thrilled that we can just play a small part in shouting that out to the world. We also put out and host a weekly newsletter and a monthly newsletter. So we like to make announcements of new businesses that are coming, celebrate the businesses that are there, and tell the stories of those that have been there for many years. And it is our pleasure to do so. A big piece that we will be coming back around to as soon as we are in a post-COVID safe world is our events. So Taste of Downtown is where we highlight our amazing restaurants downtown, and we love to fill the streets with food, fun, people, and enjoy what we have. St. Patty's Day, we did cancel this year because that was right on the cusp of when things were starting to really become known with COVID. But we are thrilled that we get to partner with the Idaho Falls Fire Department's Pipes and Drums and host that experience. Live music. We do sell a lot of beer and wine, but it's all in good. Next time you see a flower, you can thank your fellow beer drinker because we definitely do turn all those dollars around and support our downtown. So I am happy to take any questions. And let me take a look here. Michelle sent me some. Okay. Oh my gosh, we've got a lot. Okay. What has been your most surprising lesson learned this past year? I would say, I was not surprised, but I was surprised that even as the shutdown was happening and businesses were needing to adjust to curbside service, how quickly our downtown businesses could adapt and adjust. So I'm not sure. I hope you all had snakebite takeout. I hope you all had crunked up takeout. They did not miss a beat. So it wasn't a surprise, but I think more of just like a feeling of such pride for our downtown that our businesses were not going to go down without a fight, and we're not going to go down at all. I think Snakebite is just as busy of Friday nights as they normally do with the restaurant being open. The other piece of that, too, is the community came out to really support our downtown, and I think that I was grateful to see that so many love our downtown and are so committed to making sure that we have a downtown and that it's not going to go away. So I think that the passion in people's eyes and their words and their pocketbooks to make sure that downtown would still be here post quarantine, whatever that looked like, was really wonderful. What can individuals do to support downtown and IFGDC? The easiest thing you could do is if you follow us on social media, please share our social media posts. We get a lot of traction off of that. To constantly, every day, we're trying to share our story, highlight the wonderful downtown that we have. So that's probably the biggest, most impactful thing on a daily basis. Also, if you would like, please sponsor a hanging basket for $85. A basket can be yours. So the downtown baskets this year, we usually have 135 baskets. This year we did scale back to 95, which was still more. I mean, at the beginning of March, we were like, oh my gosh, we hope we can get 50 baskets. Our sponsors that have been sponsoring those baskets for years came through very strong, and so we were thrilled to have 95 baskets. And we probably we hope to have more, but the cutoff date at that 95 is simply because there's only so many places I can send those cute teens with their wagon and their water jugs. So we did have to scale back a little bit because we don't have a watering vehicle. But that's a wonderful way to support us. Also, if you're interested in supporting any just beautification in general, or public art, we do have a Historic Downtown Foundation, which is a 501c3, which is kind of it's nestled under IFDDC. As I mentioned, we're a 501c6, which is like the Chamber of Commerce is also a 501c6. Our 501c3, our charitable arm, is where you can make donations and contributions, and that helps us further those dollars to be able to do our projects. Okay, I stumbled upon the Weekly Downtowner during the COVID-19 shutdown and love it. Thank you. We love it too. Does the City Downtown Development Corporate publicize this email and or other resources to highlight our fabulous downtown businesses? So we do as much as we can to publicize that email. We gather as much content as we can every week to put into that email, whether it's events, special happenings within businesses, and we post it out to our social media, and we work very hard to get it out there into the public. We also include the media on our distribution list. So any ideas, or you can forward that on to folks to help them get excited about downtown, we absolutely love. Okay. Does there happen to be a list of all the murals? Would love to create a scavenger hunt. There is. Okay, let's see if I can be really smart here. And if you go to our website, sorry, I'm trying to navigate back through my PowerPoint. I'm not sure if I'm going to know how to do this. Okay, on our website is where I'm headed, where I'm trying to get. We do have a public art website page. And we also include a map within that website that includes all of our murals and our traffic cabinets. So if you have any questions, and hopefully this is going to load up really quickly. So here, under experience, public art is where we include all of that information, and that map is there for you. And there it is, public art traffic cabinets and public art murals. And we'll be updating that with our new mural that the INL has funded. Okay. I would love to make contributions. This is from our mayor. I would love to make contributions to a public art fund. I'm sure others would too. Maybe IFDDC could set up a fund for this within the Idaho Gives campaign. Yes, I love that idea. So one thing that we have focused on through Idaho Gives is a general beautification effort, fundraising. But I think that that's a really great suggestion. We may look at separating out some of those ideas that it's for specific public art. And we are starting to talk with some more donors about an ongoing public art support campaign. So we definitely do have some ideas there. What's next for downtown? Well, I think that we're going to see new businesses move into downtown. On Park Avenue, we have a new, really darling business coming in, Spruce Home and Gift, that will be next to the Pie Hole Pizza. On Park Avenue, it's going to be a wonderful home goods store. I've also heard that they do classes. We also have a really exciting business coming onto A Street in the old Diablos location. Carmel Tree is coming. So I think they anticipate being open Christmas, January. So I think we're going to see more and more businesses find their way downtown. And we're going to see more activities at the Broadway Plaza. And then as soon as our events come back, we will be reinventing and putting a twist on those to really just add to the fun and keep the wonderful energy and vibe of downtown going. So I think that's all I have. So thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I miss you all, fellow Rotarians, and I can't wait till we can all be together again.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And thank you, of course, to IE Productions for hosting the Idaho Falls Luncheon for us. If you are interested in learning more about Rotary International or becoming a Rotary Club member, please visit our club website. We would love to welcome you as a guest and have you get involved with the projects that we love in our community. I'm just so excited for all the things that are going on downtown and just all the changes coming to our communities here. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.